Hi everybody, I'm that girl goddess. It's been a while. I've been trying to upload and my phone was just but I'm not gonna worry about that. Because whenever you speak truth or you really building up on people's souls and spirit and mindsets, you're gonna be under attack. But this video, I'm going to talk about the EBT because, like I said, there needs to be some changes on the EBT. And I guess this government shutdown is forcing it. And I didn't see it at first, but somebody mentioned on a video that the government shutdown was a way to catch all the fraudsters. And I hope they do. Now, I'm not against people receiving benefits. Okay, a mother, because of the milk, the formula that you feed newborns is extremely expensive. I grant it. Go ahead. Anybody who have a baby that's not making, I'ma say 20K over the poverty line should receive some kind of SNAP benefit help. Okay. Because the babies have to be fed, and even if you have good intentions, the formula is so expensive. Now I'm going to get to the elderly. People talking about, even the president talking about retirement at 67, 68, 9, or 70 is totally ridiculous. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when you hit 40 years old, they truly don't want to hire you. And then they have these laws somehow they can fire you for any reason. What? That means you doing your job, respectful, and this has happened to me. And they can terminate you because the boss is mad that you ain't really being intimate with them, but they're not going to give you any proof that they're doing this. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you can't build good teams on the workforce because people are constantly let go. If they have to give you a raise, they're getting ready to get rid of you once you exceed a certain amount. Everything is about the company's benefit and not about the employees. We have self-worth. We make their company continue on. But when they and I look into it, companies should be reported when they have a high turnover rate. Everybody came to their job is not bad. I'm just saying. And then call for the elderly to send somebody $23, and I don't care what their income is, because I done seen people income, they had $900. Okay, and they're subsidized for this elderly. They paid $348. They still had to pay their own light bill and phone bill, And I probably say that in itself was probably another, let's say, $150. But everybody need cable because they don't have nothing on TV. So there go another $50 or $60. Okay, if you're going through it with the internet with Roku, which is the best bet. And they're just sitting there with no hope. If you're in America, you need hope. How do you have foreigners come over here? And I've seen it. 2 children, they getting $3K on SNAP benefits alone, and they even get more on them financially. And the average American, we're not getting none of that. Not for no 2 children. And no, I do not get SNAP benefits. No, I was not the type of person who went out there and had children and relied on the government. I worked. I provided for my children. My children's father provided. Sometimes he was in a slump and he didn't do much, but I made sure mine's had. And then later on, he got back on the bandwagon and we did it. Okay. And I tell people, like, if your first option and you don't have a job and you decide not to use birth control pills, and birth control pills are free. Clinics pass out free condoms, not clinics, but like the health board or something like that. And you mean to tell me you're too lazy to go even get you some condoms? Yes, condoms births when the men purposely birth them. Okay? Because they just want to be in rebellion, but they don't want to take care of no child for 20 years. And I look at these young girls, I keep saying, oh, I'm allergic to birth control pill. No, ma'am. No, sir. I worked in the hospital. I worked in that area. These females are the same females after 2 babies and that man done left them, come in and you get the same birth control pills they had, and it'd be less than 2% of women that really can't take birth control pills. Some of them, you just got to change the prescription, okay? They don't want to take them, okay? Because they see it as that's their meal ticket if they can get state benefits. That's why there's a lot of changes. You got workers and they taking so much money and taxes out of us, especially if you're single. You know, your check look like crap. You pay your taxes all year round, and when it comes up, you have to you end up paying them. Okay, that don't make no sense. I'll go to work every day and I have to end up paying the government back when they took my money for people sitting on their behind. I'm sorry. I can't agree with that. No, sir. No, ma'am. But they sitting here and their income is so astronomical. And so now there's a federal shutdown. Now they want to talk about, oh, we need. Well, you talking about people and they hiring people for $7.15, and it hasn't been a minimum wage increase since 2009. Now, inflation is on the rise so bad, astronomical. See, that's going to be my word. It is so outrageous because the rich want to stay rich. And there's nothing wrong with staying rich, but you need to make sure that your products, that's what I tell everybody, okay, yeah, y'all got to start growing your own vegetables and stuff and good pots in the house. You're going to have to do things to the side, to be able to survive and eat from day to day. Yes, you got to go get them beans. I was not a person who personally loved beans or anything like that, but I still went and got them lentils and beans. They got a lot of fake food out here. How in the world can we trust our government when we have companies selling fake food and it's making us sick? Okay. But the food's supposed to be approved by the the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. Okay. How? It's fake food. And it don't just affect you one day. Someday I had some food and it wasn't right. And I went back into the refrigerator and it was bending. The meat was crazy. Guess what? My stomach cramped for about 3 weeks. I was taking 6 and 7 Motrins and it would not stop. Okay. I was balled up. Okay. And it took a long time to get that out of my system. A long time. And people are living off of this and they're making all these millions of dollars at the expense of the U.S. citizens, the hardworking people. It doesn't make sense. We need a government that loves us. I'm not opposed to everything Trump do because, like I say, I don't do those demon rats. Because for years, they knew it. And when Obama came in, he did cut off the system. But they made him turn it back on because he didn't give 30-day notice. I'm not against the system, but when they elderly, I'm sorry, you send them $23 in stamps. I want to see everybody in the government live off of $23 a month. And I know for a fact, a whole lot of these people are not even receiving $1,200 a month. Rent on a 1-bedroom and studio is $1,200. Or they got to live in these real bad neighborhoods and it's still $800, and they can't even go outside and walk to the grocery store. They tell them they don't have the right to drive anymore. Okay, it's something got to give. They can't afford it. Ubers are high. I don't even want to call an Uber. Okay, these cars they sell them, they know they lemons. Everything is so far jobs placed and built so far away from the common person to be able to get to their jobs. They have all these high criteria, but I'm going to tell you, if you over 40, a lot of times when you go put in applications, they don't want to hire you. Yes, I'm over 40, and trust me, I'm stronger because when I was on the police force and we was going after our post certification, I outran all of those 18, 19, 20 years old. The guy ended up finishing the 2-mile run. I came in second place. He had just came out of the military and he was doing them runs like every day. Me and him ended side by side. Mind you, I don't get up there and run every day. And then the 18-year-old, they called for, letting us know that an inmate and them was fighting, the officer, and we all had to go in there, and we was running down the hallway. Me and her ran neck to neck. She was 18 years old. Okay? And she was out running most of these people. Just because a person has a little age don't mean they feeble. And it's ridiculous. And when you're 40 years old, you're responsible and you have children, but they'll let you go. And I'm not the type of person, I ain't never drank. I drank at one point in my life and I was like real young, like 18, and God told me to put it down, and I put it down. And I know I was an alcoholic. I got up every day drinking because the household I lived in was horrific. I was traumatized. Okay? And I tell people, there got to be a way that we can start some petition and start fighting for what we need as a person. Able-bodied young people can carry their behind to work. Okay? If these mothers don't want their baby fathers to see the children and give them all of that, and if he got a job, you know what? The courts need to give that man his child. These women, they're going to find 1,001 excuses why they can't go to work. Somewhere in that, you need to be able to, and I say if they give some reasonable assistance for someone to babysit their children. I don't care if these mothers got to go to work at night. Come pick their babies up and take them to school. Okay? They need to start letting people off of their job sites at 5, 4 o'clock in the morning, so these mothers can get home, get a couple winks, get those children prepared, and carry them to school. It is too much going on. Can't nobody afford. They talking about 41 million people because of the shutdown won't be receiving. How in the world are we supposed to financially provide for that? You lay down and made those children. You take care of those children. EBT for senior citizens and people who are truly disabled. And I done seen people with sickle cell anemia, and as soon as it get cold, they go in the hospital, their legs don't be working, and they want them people to work. Ridiculous. But you can get someone because they're gay or homosexual, they go give them a $1,200 check. Now, how is that a handicap? When you have a right to choose what you lay down with. Okay? But then they want to lift them up but give them a check at the same time. Mental health. No. If they got sickle cell anemia and it is affecting them and every year they're going into the hospital, it's no doubt they need to be approved for disability. How can a woman be driving? And I do know a woman. She has children. She's driving. Okay? The baby father got killed. But I'm going to tell you something. She's driving down the street. And her legs just don't function no more. That's dangerous. She's on the freeway. And every chance she gets, she's holding down a job. It's ridiculous. I don't even say if she can hold down a job sometime that she shouldn't be able to get it. Yeah, she should. Okay? And it shouldn't be held against her on her, against her what she received from the state. Well, know why? Because that is a disability. When you're not able to be functional, that's a disability. I'm sorry. But I'm that girl goddess, and I'm going to leave this right here, and I'm going to get back with you. Bye.